Back here at George Sparky Anderson Field between the Oaks and the Barons on Jordan Brenner's birthday. Happy birthday, Jordan. You know, I'm not much of a singer, so I'm not going to sing you happy birthday. With that being said, maybe down later in the game, if I'm feeling generous, I'll throw a little tune in there for you, because I know how much you want to hear me sing.
I know how much I would appreciate that. I know how much the Oaks faithful would appreciate that. That would be legendary status. I would very much appreciate that.
We're going to take a break for the national anthem. We'll be right back. Beautiful acoustic rendition of our nation's anthem here at Sparky Anderson Field. Welcome back, everybody. We gave you the starting lineups. We'll reiterate them for you 1 second here really quickly. Leading off for the Barons out in center field is Trent Anderson from Cal State Bakersfield. Joshua Banuelos is playing short from Peru State College. And the third spot is Logan Pollock out at second base from Michigan. In the cleanup spot, Joseph Argumedo, the Lynn University product, out at catcher. Andrew Wilson is out in left field from Marymount University, California. In the fifth spot behind him, Trevor Mattson at third base from Arcadia University in Pennsylvania. Hunter Lewis over at first base from Indiana State is batting in the seventh spot. Roosevelt Barnes behind him out in right field from Morehouse College. And the cap off the order for the Barons is Kyle Sally. Well, Jordan Brenner, it is your birthday, and I have a very special birthday present for you. For the first 5 innings of today's game, play-by-play will be done by Jordan Brenner.
Wow, surprising stuff from Jonathan. I had no idea. All right, let's get to it. David Appleby's taking the mound for the Oaks to start off. Jonathan giving me a smirk to my left.
When I was thinking to myself, I'm like, should I tell him or should I just give it to him? I thought it'd be more fun to do it live on the air and get your raw reaction, so I'm happy we left it to that.
Certainly a surprise to me, but something I appreciate. Thank you for the birthday gift. Always nice to be able to call a baseball game, especially here at beautiful George Sparky Anderson Field. Well, to start off, for these Academy Barons, Trent Anderson out in center field will lead it off from Cal State Bakersfield. Anderson went 1 for 5 in last game for the Barons against the OC Riptide. Struck out 3 times. We're going to get started in just a moment. Appleby finishing up his warm-up pitches. Beautiful day here in Thousand Oaks, California. Weather close to around 80 degrees.
It is, but with that breeze, it feels almost upper 70s, and you could bet those players on the field are very happy it doesn't feel like it's 80 degrees with how hot it can get here in the valley.
The breeze is just perfect, and we're going to get it started. Trent Anderson walking up for his first plate appearance. Appleby gets the ball, preparing to take the mound for the first time today.
Cal State Bakersfield, number 1, Trent Anderson.
Appleby has pitched 2 times already this young season. 1 run given up. No earned runs, though. He sports a fastball, slider, changeup combination.
Started his career at Utah, didn't end up playing, went to Santa Barbara City College, and now headed to Michigan in the fall.
First pitch. Low and away, ball 1 from Appleby. First pitch time, 4:31 p.m. Second pitch from Appleby. In the dirt and low, 87 miles an hour. 2-0. Anderson kicks in. Appleby quickly gets his sign from Kamenkov behind the plate and offers. Quickly 3-0. Appleby struggling to find the zone as he has in his first 2 appearances of the season. Last game, he gave up 2 hits and a run in 1 inning. Also struck out a batter. The 3-0 pitch. On the corner, strike 1. The first of the day for the Oaks. 3-1 pitch on its way. Low in the dirt, and that's going to be a 5-pitch walk to Anderson, who takes first base.
The last thing you want to do if you're the Conejo Oaks is give bases early to the Barons. The Oaks on paper are a better team, but the only way to, or the best way I should say, to allow the opposition to gain some confidence is by giving them free bases and allowing them to get off to a quick start.
And Anderson does have speed at first base. Next batter is Joshua Banuelos, who steps in for the first pitch from Appleby. In there for a called strike. 0-1.
Good two-seamer there. Had some late break on towards the inside part of the plate, catching the corner.
In what was a largely mundane day for the Barons offense, Banuelos was a bright spot as the 0-1 pitch is lined out of play. 0-2. Banuelos went 3 for 5 in the opener against the Riptide. He's off to a good start this season, but quickly down 0-2. Appleby peers over to first base at Anderson. 0-2 pitch almost hits him in the face. It's going to catch him on the shoulder, and on an 0-2 pitch, Banuelos is hit by the pitch, and he'll head to first base. Oaks quickly in a lot of trouble here in the first inning. 2 on, nobody out. No hits recorded so far. And that one really hurts if you're Appleby. You got ahead of Banuelos. You pounded the zone with 2 heaters. And then you go right to the off speed. And you miss pretty drastically.
Yeah, when you get ahead in the count, you could see he was trying to go up and try to get that strike 3 high fastball. I think it just got away from him. Nothing intentional, nothing malicious, but if you're Appleby, you have to be very careful with your control.
Logan Pollock steps in. First pitch. On the edge, 0-1. Appleby flirting with 90 miles an hour on the 89-mile-an-hour fastball on the edge. Pollock is a returner for this Barons team. Appleby checks second base. See what's going on with Anderson. Second pitch is in the dirt, 1-1. Showing the changeup early on. He's gone to all 3 pitches now. The fastball, the slider, and the changeup. 1-1 is the count. Pollock from the University of Michigan, the big left-handed hitter. Appleby takes his time, now sets. 1-1 pitch. Off the plate away, 2-1. Pollock went 1 for 4 in the opener. Struck out 2 times. Also reached base on a walk. Early trouble here for Appleby.
He needs to keep a pitch low, try to get a ground ball, and let his middle infield do some work.
2-1. Off the plate away. Another changeup missing. 3-1. And if you're Pollock, you can expect something hard and something over the middle here. Pollock waves his bat. Awaits the 3 batter-friendly count. And he misses again, off the plate away. And Dave Solis is quickly going to go out for a meeting with Appleby. The bases are loaded. He started off the game, a walk to Anderson on 5 pitches. He hit Banuelos in the shoulder on the 0-2 pitch. And now he just walked Pollock for the 3rd base on balls of the inning.
Of course, Solis, primarily a pitching coach before he took over as head coach here. He's a pitching coach for a while and other facets as well. And he's the head coach at Rio Mesa High School down the road. But he understands. He knows these guys in summer ball have some fundamentals that they need to work on. He doesn't get over anxious. He doesn't go at them too hard. He says, look, this is what you're doing wrong. This is how you can start working to correct it. And I think that's the conversation he had with Appleby on the mound was, I see you missing high. I see you shying away from batters. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to go at them because worst comes to worst, you get a ball in play, and at the end of the day, you have to trust the infield and the outfield behind you.
Yeah, all the best pitchers in the world give up hard contact.
Pitching for contact is a skill. There's nothing wrong with it.
Bases juiced, nobody out. Fastball line to second base for 1 over to second. The relay over to first in time for a double play. A run scores. That's Anderson. Scores 1-0, but quickly 2 outs that the Oaks will take. Runner on third now.
Left fielder.
That's
From
Logan
Maryland
Pollock.
University, number 11,
No,
Andrew
excuse me.
Wilson.
That's Bonuelos at third.
And a productive out right there for the Barons. That's what you want to do. You want to try to push that run across because you know the Oaks are going to come back in a fury on the offensive end, at least throughout the game. Maybe not early. After what they did to the Blues, Barons need to strike quick and early, and that's what they did.
First pitch in to Wilson is a little bit low, 1-0. Argumendo just grounded into the double play, was actually very productive in the opener. 2 for 4 runs scored. Didn't work out for him there. Andrew Wilson, the left fielder, awaits the 1-0 pitch. A little chopper over to third base, shaken field, sidearm over to first, gets him by a step to end the inning. 1 run on no hits, 1 left on base. We're through a half an inning here on the Oaks Broadcast Network. Back in for the bottom of the first inning. The Oaks flirted with a lot of danger in the top half of the inning. Only surrendered 1 run, no hits given up. Even though the Barons did have the bases loaded with nobody out, a double play and a ground out. And Appleby does a pretty good job avoiding the big number. Let's go through the Conejo Oaks lineup for today, leading off Tanner Wright at second base. From Cal Lutheran University. In the 2-hole, Ramon Gomez out in left field from Oxnard Community College. Sam Shaken is the 3rd-hole hitter. He's playing the hot corner today from Valparaiso. Brandon Lewis, the 4-hole hitter in right field from UC Irvine. Bart West follows him, first base out of USC. Bailey Holbrook, the DH, after him. In the 7th spot, Michael Tillman out in center field. Zach Gamakaw behind the plate follows him. And rounding out the order is Kyle Velasquez, making his first start at shortstop from St. Mary's. Tanner Wright steps in. 3 for 3 in the last game. He also walked 2 times. Reached base all 5 times he came to the plate. First pitch is just a little bit inside from Nikhil Galatas. 1-0. Galatas from Jackson State delivers off speed in the dirt, 2-0. Tanner Wright didn't end up getting the player of the game for the Oaks broadcast last game, but
You talked me out of it.
he was close. Lifts one out to right field, deep. Over to make the play is Roosevelt Barnes for the first out of the inning. That was hit pretty well off the bat of Wright. And it's a little bit weird for him, I'm sure, to be running back to the dugout instead of hanging out on one of the bases.
I mean, he did reach base all 4 times. He was up 2 days ago against the Blues. So maybe a rest is good. Maybe he just popped out on purpose to give himself a rest and get back in the saddle next at bat.
Maybe Ramon Gomez swings at the first pitch. Comes up with a lot of air. 0-1. Gomez 1 for 4 with an RBI last game. Bumped up to the 2-hole. Takes a fastball in the dirt, 1-1. Gomez out of Oxnard Community College. 1-1 pitch. Fastball lifted right side out of play. Barnes had a look, but had no chance to get there.
Not with the wind blowing the way it blows out here at Cal Lutheran. Most of those balls that are hit down the line get caught up in that jet stream flowing down from the valley out towards right field and normally get pushed foul.
Gomez digs in a 1-2 hole and awaits the 1-2 offering from Galatas. Off speed, shallow fly ball to right center, has a chance to land, and it does for a base hit. Gomez will take it. Even though it wasn't the hardest contact in the world, he's on first base.
Yeah, Nicolatis is a good pitcher. He pitches for placement. He has a little bit of speed. And for the Oaks, small ball may be what's needed here. They may not necessarily find a pitch that they can hit out of the park, but finding the spots in the field where there aren't fielders, no man's land, if you will be key here in today's game.
Gomez leading off first. Galatas checks on him. Keeps him close. 1 out in the inning. Sam Shakin's at bat. He's playing third base today. Different from his natural position of shortstop. Galatas sets and fires. Fastball, Shakin was early on it. He bobbles it over to his own dugout. 0-1. The Oaks are no strangers to being down after one inning. They were down 2-0 after the top of the inning in last game's win. Ended up winning that game 11-6. 0-1 pitch is in there for a called strike on the fastball. Looked like some two-seam action. 0-2. Shakin takes his time, goes through his pre-at-bat rituals. And now awaits the 0-2 offering. Gomez getting a good lead at first. And the catcher's going to check on him at first base. Good throw from Argumendo behind the plate. Hunter Lewis couldn't get the tag down in time. 1-2. Gomez is really trying to get a head start there at first base. Galatas throws over again. Gomez back in safely. The whole front half of Gomez's jersey is already dirty, the sign of a productive day at the office. 1-2 to Shakin.
The end result will determine whether it was productive or not.
Fair enough. That is scorched foul and out of play. 1-2.
Galatas is trying to keep these balls low, get Shakin to hit one up into the middle infield and allow his team to turn 2 and end this inning, but Shakin is so good at fighting off pitches, not allowing anything easy for the opposition, which makes him such a threat, not only for Valparaiso, but also over the summer here with the Oaks.
1-2 to Shakin. The 6'2" player waits, and he takes a fastball in the corner, called strike 3. Shakin turns around, keeps his head down, walks slowly back to the dugout. Disappointed.
So now we have to pay attention to that outside corner because some umpires call it and some umpires don't. Today may be a day where that outside corner is a pitch that batters have to swing at, especially last game when that pitch was not being called a strike.
Brandon Lewis steps in with a .400 average on the year. 2 singles, 2 doubles. Takes off speed in the dirt. Gomez goes to second. No throw needed. Gomez is in there safely. And now a runner in scoring position for Brandon Lewis. You got to think Galatas will be careful what he throws Lewis now that there's a base open at first base. The 1-0 pitch to the future UC Irvine player is lifted out of play.
And for Lewis on the season so far, getting off to a slow start here in the third game. Batting .400 for his standards, I guess, if you will. But in 10 at-bats, obviously those 4 hits are big. Though for our standards, we're used to seeing within the first 10 at-bats at least 2 home runs. So by slow start, I mean he's not necessarily rocketing that ball out as we're accustomed to.
1-1 to Lewis is lifted out to left field. That's very deep. But over to make the play at the track is Tillman. He got a big piece of that one. The Oaks go scoreless. No runs on one hit, no errors, one man left on base. 1-0 to the Barons after the first inning here on the Oaks Broadcast Network. Trevor Matson steps in for the Academy Barons to lead off the top half of the second inning. Matson out of Arcadia University takes a ball off the plate from Appleby. Want to know, Matson, another bright spot for this Barons team. 2 for 4 in his first game. A run scored. And a jam shot ground ball. Kamikoff feels behind the plate, fires over to first. Bart West completes the play for the first out of the inning. Good instincts from Kamikoff there. Both Appleby and Kamikoff went after that little squibbler in front of the mound. But some unspoken chemistry between the pitcher and catcher allowed for Kamikoff to field that ball without any trouble. Hunter Lewis steps in out of Indiana State. Takes a zipping fastball on the corner, 0-1.
That was Appleby's best pitch all day so far. That fastball in the outside corner at the knees, well placed. Good timing. Got the strike.
0-1. Pitch. There's off speed, 0-2. And Appleby, that's a good sign for him. You know, he hasn't been able to locate that fastball and off speed, but when you can rip a fastball in there to start it off, that just makes the off speed that much more effective. 0-2, off speed on the edge, a 3 strikeout for the first out of the inning, and Appleby is in the zone now.
You could tell that he was unhappy with his first inning. I'm sure he had a conversation with head coach Solis about what he did wrong, what he needs to do in this inning to change the tide a little bit. And right there, after jamming the first batter, able to get a 3-pitch strikeout, he's more composed. His motion looks a little bit better, and I think that he's finally settling in there on the rubber.
And I like the trust Solis showed, putting him out there for a second inning of work. Off speed on the inside corner, 0-1. And this is the David Appleby who was recruited for a Big Ten school at Michigan. This is what everybody was expecting of him. The 0-1 pitch. Fastball on the ground to shortstop. Fielded by Velasquez. Over to first to West. In time for the inning. The Barons go in short order. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on base. The top half of the second is over. We'll be right back on the Oaks Broadcast Network.
the second for the Oaks.
Bart West is the first chance for the Oaks in the bottom of the second inning. Trying to tie the game, maybe even the lead. Right now down 1-0 to the Barons, who scored in the first inning. We're destined for a bigger number, but Appleby did a good job getting out of that one. First pitch to West. Fastball at the knees, 0-1. So we talked earlier in the broadcast, Tanner Wright did not get the Player of the Game awards for the previous game for the Oaks as the 0-1 pitch
Talked me out
comes
of
in.
it.
There's a slider on the corner, 0-2. Well, anyway, the Oaks player who did get the Player of the Game nomination was Bart West, and he was deserving 3 for 3 with a walk, an RBI, and a double. He fights off the 0-2 pitch. Little dribbler down the left side, still 0-2.
And we say it every time he comes up to bat. It was a shame what happened to him this past season with USC, where he had to take a medical redshirt due to tearing his labrum, I believe, but we're excited to have him back next year.
0-2. Check swing. Fouled back to the screen, 0-2. That was a defensive swing from West.
And how about the release for Galatas? If you watch him, he almost does a Shaq free throw. You know how Shaq hesitates before he shoots?
Yeah, I did see that.
Galatas does it with his leg. He'll put his leg up and then hesitate.
0-2. Off speed, down and away.
It's kind of fascinating. It makes it hard as a batter to gauge.
Yeah, you think about some of the major league players who do similar corks. As the 1-2 pitch is lined down the left field line for a fair ball. West is hustling around first. He's going to go over to second base. It's going to be a close play. He slides in safely for a double to lead off the inning. And Bart West remains hot. 4 for his last 4.
Bart West showing off what he can do. And we just said, look, it was a shame what happened to him, but this is an opportunity now for him to show everybody what he's got. USC had a couple of guys drafted, and he's going to be a future bright spot for the Trojans before probably making it to the next level if he keeps playing the way that we've seen him play the first 4 games of the season so far.
Bailey Holbrook, one of the few Oaks who did not have a hit in last game. Trying to check in early here. Swings and fouls off the first pitch. Back behind the plate, 0-1.
And if you were with us on Wednesday when the Oaks played the Blues, we talked about how Holbrook was listed at 190 pounds and how to us that didn't seem right. Well, we talked to him after the game. He said, I'm actually 230.
That seems a little bit more accurate. Lines that one just a bit foul down the left field line, 0-2.
It is more accurate because there's no way I'm closer to 190 than he is.
Yeah, you could tell he eats his vegetables.
Oh, yeah.
Galatas with a runner off of second. That's Bart West. He just doubled down the left field line. 0-2 pitch to Holbrook. Fastball off the plate away, 1-2. Tony, you were saying, Galatas. A little bit of a funky delivery. You think about Johnny Cueto on the Giants. He sometimes does some corks in his delivery. The 1-2 pitch is on the ground. A diving play over at first. Oh, but Galatas drops the relay over to first. It was a great diving stop by Hunter Lewis. On the play, West advances to third base. And Holbrook is fortunate. What a diving stop over at first by Lewis.
And that will be an error, not a hit, an error on the pitcher. And one for dropping that. A beautiful stop by Lewis, but unfortunately, Galatas just couldn't hold on to it as the ball was thrown behind, so still 2 hits and 1 error now in the game.
Chance to strike for the Oaks. Michael Tillman in, center fielder from Cal State, L.A. Fastball. Inches away from hitting his belt. He takes it, 1-0.
And the Oaks are very good at stringing together big situations here with runners on the corners and nobody out. Spot here for team to take the lead.
Tillman, a bouncer through the left side, a base hit. Oaks tie the game at 1 on a couple dribblers in the infield and a hard double from Bart West down the line.
It does not have to be anything impressive. A couple of dribblers through the infield into left field is all that is needed to get that run in. Well done for the Oaks. Not trying to reach too hard because many of their outs the last couple of days have come by deep balls in the outfield. I think they're focusing more on playing small ball, trying to get on base that way, and stringing together smaller hits as opposed to trying to go deep every single time.
Kamenkaw steps in, swings at the first pitch. Fastball, he hands it back to the screen, 0-1. Kamenkaw has one plate appearance on the year. Wasn't successful. He's 0 for 1 on the season. Runners at first and second. Tillman over at first. As Kamenkaw lines the 0-1 pitch back to the screen, 0-2. Holbrook over at second. Gallatis working hard here early. Kamenkaw trying to defend on the 0-2 pitch. Here it is. Line backing out of play again. It'll be 0-2 again. Kyle Velasquez waiting on deck. Still no outs in the inning for these Oaks, who love to put across multiple runs in an inning. Oh, 2 offering. This time low, 1-2. Miguel Gallatis shown cutter, sinker, fastball, slider. He's got the ball moving all over the place. Gallatis checks the runner at second. A long pause. And now he fires. Off-speed swing on a missed. Kamenkaw goes down on strikes for the first out of the inning. Gallatis' second strikeout of the game.
Beautiful off-speeder there. 75 miles an hour. Kamenkaw way out in front of it. And that's a good out, number 1, because Kyle Velasquez here in the bottom of the order, if you're Gallatis, you're going to try to get him to hit into a double play. The problem now is, though, he's very, very fast. So if you can't turn it quick enough, you may only get a fielder's choice.
Velasquez lines a fly ball into right field. In making the play is Barnes. He fires quickly into the infield and holds Velasquez at second base. Quickly, 2 outs in the inning. Tanner Wright back in for his second at-bat of the game. He flew out to right back in the first inning.
You know, Jordan, I've thought about it a lot, and I've listened to a lot of walk-up songs. Tanner Wright, the Logic song that he walks up to, by far and away now is my favorite. And I have to ask you, if you could choose a walk-up song, what would it be, and what part of that song would it be of?
I'll get back to you after this pitch. Gallatis peers in and fires. First pitch, just a little bit low, 1-0. We can't go wrong with the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Jonathan.
Okay, but they have a lot of songs.
Californication, maybe.
Your walk-up song would be Californication.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a good song.
It's your birthday, so I can't judge you.
1-0 from Gallatis. Checks the runner at second. Maybe some Drake.
Ah, there we go. I like that.
Gallatis steps off and looks. Holbrook back to the bag at second. First and second, 2 outs in the inning. A 1-1 game. Oaks trying to take the lead early. Tanner Wright waves his bat and waits. Off speed on the corner. A really good pitch from Gallatis. In there for a strike.
Yeah, 72 miles an hour, the slowest pitch that we have seen today. Hard pitch to swing at because it starts off towards the upper left shoulder of Wright, and then it drops down into the inside part of the zone for strike 1.
Wright awaits the 1-1. He fouls it off of his right foot. That'll hurt a little bit, but he should be okay, 1-2. Wright was named first team All-State twice at Centennial High School. And he was also an honorable mention All-State another year. This past year at Cal Lutheran, he hit .316, 28 RBIs. He also led the team with 8 stolen bases.
For a struggling Kingsman team, he was definitely a bright spot this season.
1-2, 2 outs. Galadis checks the runner at second base. Peers in and fires. In the dirt, 2-2. Galadis, it's clear, is most effective when he keeps that ball low in the zone, gets ahead in the count, and then he throws that wicked curveball as his out pitch.
Keeps batters off balance. A very smart repertoire, but sometimes if you're not pitching it, you're not hitting your spots, if you will. The game could get away from you.
2-2. Off the plate away now, 3-2.
And that kind of, sorry, Jordan, proves my point is when I was saying, like, you have to be able to capitalize on the repertoire that you have. Well, if you're throwing fastball, off speed, fastball, off speed, those get away from you, you're going to get down the count.
Full count to right. On the ground towards the shortstop, Banuelos, who flips over to second base, Pollock, in time for the third out of the inning. A lot of people on the Oaks thought he was out. In the inning, a run on 2 hits, an error, and 1 man left on base. Through 2 full innings, 1-1. You're listening to Oaks Baseball on the Oaks Broadcast Network.
Leading off top of the third for the Barons.
Kyle Sally,
Hitter from Duke, number 2.
Duke University, steps in for his first plate appearance. The designated hitter on this Barons squad. David Appleby in for his third inning of work. First pitch. Shows Bunny, gets it down. He trips down the first base line. Kamikawa throws him out easily at first base. And that's unfortunate for Kyle Sally because that was actually a pretty good bunt.
Unfortunate was exactly the word I was going to say, Jordan. He tripped over his own legs because he started the run. He did that little Happy Gilmore, if you will. He started his run before he actually made contact. So when he made contact and he turned, he tripped over himself because he couldn't accelerate the way that he wanted to. An unfortunate mishap on the base path, but a fortunate out here for the Oaks.
Trent Anderson steps in for his second at-bat. Takes a fastball inside, 1-0. Anderson walked and came around to score back in the first inning. Since the first, Appleby has been able to recommand the zone. Maybe I spoke too early. That's a fastball off the plate away, 2-0.
I think he's trying to get down to the count on purpose so that way he could throw a couple of strikes now.
Perhaps. He has been working quite quickly the last 4 batters. Ground ball over to second base, right over to first to West. 2 outs. A low stress out despite the 2-0 count.
Being down in the count, though, as a pitcher does not necessarily mean that you're in a bad situation because you saw right there he threw a pitch that wasn't a great pitch to hit, but it was going to be a strike because the batter was in a batter's count. He was more confident, but Appleby was able to take his confidence and use it against him to get a ground out.
And Welo steps in for a second at-bat, takes a fastball out the knees, 0-1. Banuelos, no official at-bat so far today. He was hit by a pitch back in the first. Appleby kicks and fires. Fastball off the plate, 1-1. You could just see a difference in demeanor for Appleby from the first inning to now. He's in a groove right now, and as a pitcher, that's the most important thing. 1-1 is off speed away. 2-1.
Some of the fundamentals that he's working on this summer, the overcompensation, like you saw right there, he missed inside, so he overcompensated and missed outside. But overall, I think that when he takes his time, was collected, the command is there.
2-1. Fastball squibbled on the ground, foul out of play to the right side. Jonathan to my left looking up to see if squibbled is a
I
word.
think you meant to say squibbed.
Squibbled is, you can invent words when you have that weird of contact off the bat.
I don't know, man.
The 2-2 pitch.
Seems like a stretch.
Squibbled again to the left side out of play.
Now we're just being repetitive.
Two and two outs.
What do you think, Sean, our producer? Squibbled, yes or no? You're going to go with a yes.
Thank you,
wow.
Sean. Happy birthday to me. Off speed in the dirt, 3-2.
I guess just because today is a special day for you. It's also International Best Friends Day. So happy Best Friends Day to everybody out there, all of our friends here with the Oaks. I'm not going to wish it here to you, Jordan, but
Too bad it's only a special day on one front for me. 3-2 pitch. Squibbled again to the right side out of play, 3-2. And that's the last time I'll be using that adjective.
you were using it as a verb.
As a verb, I was about to say. Still only a freshman in the J school. Full count, 2 outs from Appleby. Banuelos awaits after a long pause, and here's the pitch. Skied out of play right side. 3-2.
3-2 count for Appleby. The two-seamer's been working. It's going to be hard to throw an off-speed pitch out, though, because if he takes it and misses, you give up a walk. The last thing you want to do is give up a free base with 2 away. So I think you just got to keep going at him. Throw that fastball, keep it low, keep it at the knees, or maybe even belt high, and hope that that ball is hit on the ground or right to your fielder.
3-2 pitch from Appleby. Swung on and grounded over to second base. Tanner right over to Bart West at first for the out. 2 straight 1-2-3 innings for Appleby. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on base. We're through 2.5 from the Oaks Baseball Network.
Fielder, number 4, Ramon Gomez.
Ramon Gomez steps in for the bottom of the third. Swings at the first pitch. And it's headed for a moving car out in the parking lot. Luckily, that man was speeding in the parking lot. He avoided the baseball.
I think he gets a pass for that one.
A defensive driving maneuver as the 0-1 pitch is fouled back to the screen. Oh, and 2 to Gomez. Gomez, base hit back in the first inning. Takes off speed in the dirt. That was a good take. I wanted to swing at that pitch from up here.
The little pencil I'm holding, I don't know if I'd necessarily be able to make contact.
I believe in you,
Oh,
Jonathan.
I appreciate it.
1-2 pitch. Lifted high, but foul and out play. Hit relatively well towards the desert. 1-2. Calidus working quickly. The 1-2 offering. Just a little bit outside. 2-2.
Yeah, Argumeta behind the dish, tried to place it up at the knees, but our home plate umpire was not biting on that one.
Count even at 2. Shaken waits on deck. Here's the pitch. Off speed. Hit hard on the ground to the shortstop Banuelos. Over to first to Lewis in time for the first out. 2 good swings from Gomez so far.
The third baseman, number 25, Sam Shaken.
Sam Shaken. I received word from Jonathan that in the first inning I pronounced Valparaiso University like a Valprese, like a caprese sandwich.
I guess if the Italians took over Valparaiso, that's what they would rename it.
First pitch is off speed in there for a called strike. All I know is that the university I go to, the caprese sandwiches are quite good.
What university is that, Jordan?
University of Oregon.
Let's go Ducks.
LLC Dining Hall. Delicious. As 0-1 is rounded foul and out of play, 0-2. You put it in the toaster, 2-3 minutes, you let the mozzarella melt. A wonderful lunchtime option.
We should have our own little chef cooking show here.
Sounds good to me.
I had a little Iron Chef experience last night myself.
0-2 to Shaken. Big swing and a miss at the off speed in the dirt. He goes down on strikes for the second time today. And there's that quirky leg motion from Calidus on the mound.
It's so hard to figure out when he's going to release because he puts his leg up, then he puts it down, then he puts it up again, but obviously not low enough where it's a balk. But that pump fake with the leg really, really messes with the hitter, and I think Shaken just tried to gauge what pitch was going to be thrown and couldn't because of that leg kick.
Brandon Lewis steps in, swings at the first pitch, off speed, lifted over to the first baseman. Hunter Lewis makes the play for the third out of the inning. The Oaks go in short order. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. We're through 3. The game is tied at 1 here at George Sparky Anderson Field. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Oaks Baseball on the Oaks Broadcast Network. Back for the top of the 4th inning, Logan Pollock in for his second at-bat.
Second baseman, number 18, Logan Pollock.
How about the pace of this game, guys? 1-1 the score. Barons scored in the top of the first, Oaks scored in the bottom of the second. That's all the offense we've seen.
First pitch from Appleby is spiked in the dirt, 1-0. Pollock walked back in the first inning. Was later thrown out at second base on the Argumendo 4-6-3 double play. 1-0 pitch. Hit hard into right field for a base hit. Pollock reaches base for the second time today.
And it's weird to think that the Barons have a run, but that was the first hit of the ball game. Appleby throwing a no-hitter before that, but nonetheless, they're already capitalizing. They were able to score back in the first by way of a couple of walks and a hit by a pitch, a ground out that allowed one of their runners to score, that being Anderson. But here in the fourth, leading off with a single, their first hit of the game. We'll see if they can string together some hits here with the middle of the order up.
Pollock with a sizable lead off of first. Argumendo steps in for a second plate appearance. And he lines one into left field for another base hit. Big turn at second for Pollock, but he stays there. 2 hits to begin the inning. And now runners at first and second.
The left fielder, number 11.
Andrew Wilson in for his second plate appearance. Wilson grounded out back in the first inning. And those were the first 2 hits that Appleby's given up all game. Let's see how he responds. A ringing fastball in the corner, 0-1. You could just tell it was a good pitch by the pop of the glove. And that time, it echoed throughout the stadium. Argumedo off of first. Pollock off of second. Off speed from Appleby. Stays a little bit inside. Didn't get that break he's accustomed to on that off-speed pitch. 1-1, 2-on. A 1-1 ball game here in the top of the fourth. Wilson swings on a 2-seam fastball in on the hands. Hits it off of his leg, and it rolls out of play. 1-2. Wilson walks away from the batter's box, trying to compose himself after that stinger. Still shaking out his leg in this big at-bat. Action brewing in the Oaks bullpen. No serious throwing, but just some stretching. 1-2 from Appleby. Kamikawa sets on the inner half. Off speed, a little bit low, 2-2. Two and two, 2-on. 1 run on 2 hits for the Barons. 1 run on 3 hits for the Oaks. Appleby checks the runner at second. A big lead over at second base from Pollock, and here's the pitch. On the ground over to the shortstop for 1. Relay over to first, not in time. 6-4 on the putout. Argumedo is out at second base. Argumedo out at second base. Pollock advances to third base. And Wilson reaches first on the fielder's choice.
Another productive out here for the Barons. That is, of course, if they can capitalize with that runner 90 feet away from scoring position. Now with the big man Trevor Matson up, expect a deep fly ball somewhere. That'll allow that runner from third to score.
Grounded out back in the second. Runners at the corners. Appleby takes a long pause now. Offers a fastball in the inside corner in there for a strike. The Oaks, they're 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning. The Barons, they're 1 pitch away from blowing this game wide open. Certainly a defining moment in the early portions of this game. 0-1 from Appleby. He takes his set position on the mound. Gets his sign from Kamenkoff, peers in, and now offers. Off speed inside, 1-1. Appleby's shown off multiple off-speed pitches. Looks like a curveball that he throws in the lower 70s, and then the hard slider that touches 80, 2-seamer at 85, and then the 4-seamer touching 87, 88. Checks on Wilson back at first. Nothing doing. Appleby sets. The 1-1 pitch. Hits him on the leg. That's got to hurt. And taking first base is Trevor Matson. We hope he's okay.
He is, but he's definitely cradling that forearm.
It looked like it.
Left forearm.
Yeah, that's a dangerous place to get hit. How many times in the course of a major league season do we see guys take a fastball to the wrist or the forearm and they miss 2 months of the season? And when you're playing summer collegiate ball,
the last thing you need is an injury by way of something like, last thing you need is an injury at all, of course, but
what a brutal way to take it, for sure.
Absolutely. Of course, the coaching staff over there checking in on him.
So Appleby faces his second bases loaded situation of the game. The first came in the first inning with nobody out. He did reasonably well to get out of that half inning, giving up only 1 run. Now he already has an out to work with. So giving up no runs is certainly a possibility if you get Lewis, who steps in, to hit a ball on the ground. But a fly ball gives the Barons the lead also. Appleby first pitch is to Lewis, lines it up the middle for a base hit. 1 run will score. Following suit is Wilson. He scores. And the Barons, some loud sound off of the bat. And they take a 3-1 lead.
Pitch right down the heart of the plate. Lewis was able to take advantage, line one upright through the middle, and allow 2 of his teammates to come in and score in the forms of Pollock and Wilson. Barons now take a 3-1 lead, and a big lead here as we get into the middle part of this game.
First pitch into Roosevelt Barnes is low and away, 1-0. That was a great swing by Hunter Lewis, an inside-out swing. Hitting a low fader into center field. Put the Barons on top. Next pitch to Roosevelt Barnes, lifted into deep right field. Making the play is Brandon Lewis, and tagging going to third base is Trevor Matson. Lewis had no chance to try and gun Matson out at third base. A smart play just to throw to the cutoff man.
And how about that throw to the cutoff man, though? Nice job by Wright getting in position. Lewis able to spear that ball in, but of course, regardless of the throw, a nice deep ball hit, allowing Matson to tag for second to third base.
Kyle Sally in for his second at-bat. Remember, he stumbled on the bunt attempt back in the third. Fastball on the edge, 0-1. Appleby not out of trouble yet. Runners still at the corners. Matson over at third base.
Folks have Bo Jelenic warming up on the pen right now, or in the pen, I should say. It's not really a bullpen because it's not in a pen. It's not covered, but in the warm-up area, if you will.
I think on the pen is...
On the pen's accurate?
It's acceptable here.
All right. I think that's fair.
0-1 to Kyle Sally. As Appleby checks on Lewis back at first. He slides in safely. He gets his uniform dirty. Baseball players take pride in that. 0-1 pitch from Appleby to Sally. Fastball off the plate away. 1-1.
The baseball players take pride in it, but I'm not exactly sure how happy it makes the interns who have to wash all their laundry after the game.
Fair point. Luckily, my internship responsibilities don't span that far. As the 1-1 pitch is an off-speed pitch. Appleby buried it. And it settled under the swinging bat of Kyle Sally. 1-2. 2 outs in the inning, runners at the corners. 3-1 Barons here in the top of the fourth. Big lead off of first base by Lewis. Appleby peers in and fires. And another base hit up the middle. Another run will score. A good swing from Kyle Sally, staying with that off-speed pitch and lining it up the middle for a base hit. Trevor Matson scored. Hunter Lewis advances over to second base.
And that's a rough pitch if you're Appleby, because it was a good pitch. It was a low fastball right at the knees. Sally was just able to pull out his best Vladimir Guerrero impression, dig deep for it, and find a spot in the field where there was no fielder.
So now 4-1 Barons lead. Appleby gets his sign from Kamenkov. Ground ball back to the mound off of the glove of Appleby. He recovers, tosses it over to first. Not before 3 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. 3 runs in the inning, a 4-1 Barons lead. We head to break after 3.5 here on the Oaks Baseball Network. Bart West leading off the bottom of the 4th inning for these Oaks. First pitch from Galadis at the knees, 0-1. The Oaks no strangers to coming from behind. Trailed 2-0 after the first inning, the first half inning of the last game against the Blues, as the second pitch is low, 1-1.
Of course, they were down in the first game on Sunday against the Cubs. They were
That
down,
too.
and they eventually lost to the Blues the second game.
1-1 is a off-speed pitch. Bounced in the dirt. West was swinging 1-2.
So the Oaks are now 4 for 4 in games being down, and they're 2-1 so far. The problem is that can't go on.
No, it can't. 1-2 is swung on and missed, and Bart West can't continue the hitting streak. The streak of 4 in a row.
Nice.
Swing and a miss.
Nice strikeout number 4 of the game here for Galadis. He's now feeling it after a tough second inning where he gave up a couple of hits, as well as a run. Striking out some batters. Now his second strikeout in 3 batters he's faced so far.
Bailey Holbrook steps in, reached on an error in the second inning. First pitch lifted behind home plate. That's coming right at us. Stays on the field, and a beautiful play by Argumendo. He makes the catch behind the plate for the second out of the inning. And I keep getting that name wrong. I know Jonathan keeps looking at me afterwards. It's Argumedo. So it happens when you write it down wrong before the game.
It's always good to double check your work. I know teachers in math have been stressing that to us since day one. It applies to this profession as well.
2 outs in the inning. The Oaks' last hope is Michael Tillman. First pitch is in there for a strike, and Galadis is really catching his stride. There's a certain level of comfort when you're pitching with a lead on the mound. Relaxes you. Gives you room for error. 0-1 is swung on and missed. 0-2. And just as we were talking about Appleby being in the zone back in the second and third innings, it seems like Galadis is in a similar frame of mind. 0-2 is fought off and grounded to the left side out of play. 0-2 again. Tillman a base hit back in the second inning to left field. Did not start in the Oaks' last game. Gets the nod here today. Ground ball over to shortstop Bonuelos. Over to first, gets him by a step. Hunter Lewis, a good stretch at first base. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. A scoreless fourth inning. 4-1 Barons here in the Oaks Baseball Network. New pitcher in for the top of the fifth inning for these Oaks. Bo Jelinek making his third appearance of the year. The first two were successful. 2 innings pitched, no runs given up, so the ERA is still at 0. The University of San Francisco product, taking his talents to Southern California for the summer. His first challenge is Trent. It's actually
For the Barons, shortstop number 3,
the shortstop, Joshua Banuelos. Banuelos 0 for 1 with a hit by pitch and a ground out. Kamenkaw over to have a word with his new pitcher, Jelinek. He toes the rubber for the first time today. Peers in for his sign, kicks and fires. Off the plate away, 76 miles an hour on the off speed. 1-0. Jelinek, a fastball, curveball, changeup combination. The tall, lanky right-hander. Second pitch is lifted over to second base. No problem for Tanner Wright. He squeezes the ball into his glove for a 2-pitch first out. Jelinek this past year at the University of San Francisco. 5 2/3 innings. A 3.18 ERA. He gave up 2 runs, 2 earned runs. A walk and 4 strikeouts. Product out of Westlake High School. He's from Thousand Oaks, California. As Logan Pollock steps in for his third at-bat, takes the first pitch in there for a strike.
67 miles an hour on the gun right there. That's almost slow pitch softball right there, but it's not about the speed, it's about the break, and a beautiful strike number 1 there by Jelinek.
Jelinek can't find the zone on the next pitch, 1-1. Pollock a base hit back in the 4th. Reached base on a walk back in the 1st. Pollock a big swing and a foul back to the screen, 1-2. Michigan Wolverine takes a short walk to compose himself, preparing for this payoff pitch. 1-2. Jelinek quickly sets and fires. Off speed off the plate. The screen, the scoreboard says 50 miles an hour. That can't be accurate.
No, I don't think that was accurate.
It did look like it had a lot of movement, though. 2-2 pitch. Pollock lines one over to the first baseman, Bart West. Doesn't have to move. He squeezes it for the second out. A line out to the 3 spot if you're keeping score at home.
Always a good skill to know how to keep score of a baseball game.
Something I'm still learning, but something I certainly enjoy.
Yeah, it's kind of a way to stay connected with the game in a different way, if you will. You almost feel like you're part of it by keeping score.
Joseph Argumedo stepping in for his third at-bat. Finally got it right. Big curveball, 68 miles an hour in there, strike one. And keeping score, it's kind of, in a world that's, progressing forward so quickly, new technology, it's a way to, as the 0-1 pitch is lined over to third base, shaken over to first for the out. It's a way to keep touch with what's important in life. A quick 1-2-3 inning for Jelinek, who just came into the game. We're through 4.5, a 4-1 lead for these Academy Barons over the Oaks. Don't go anywhere here on the Oaks Baseball Network.
Leading off, bottom of the fifth for the Oaks.
Gallant is back on the mound for his fifth inning of work. He's been pretty special so far today. 4 strikeouts, 4 innings pitched, only 1 run given up, only 3 hits surrendered as well. Zach Kamenkow steps in for his second at-bat. Struck out back in the second. Saladis quickly works. A fastball drilled through the left side. A base hit for Kamenkow, who checks in for his first hit as a Conejo Oak. Congratulations.
After having a short tenure with UNLV this year, not that he's not on the team, he just didn't play very much. Eager to show what he's made of here in Summer Ball, and right there, a sign of things to come with that single whipped into left field.
Kyle Velasquez back in for his second at-bat. Flew out to right field in the second. Chance to do some damage. Runner at first. Kamenkow's checked on at first base. He slides in safely. Velasquez awaits the pitch. He skies it out to right field shallow. Over to make the play, and foul ground is Logan Pollock, the second baseman, for the first out of the inning. Back to the top of the order for the Oaks. Tanner Wright steps in. And after going 3 for 3 in the previous game, he's quickly 0 for 2 today. Gallatis peers in. Gets his sign from Argumendo. Fastball upstairs, 1-0. Kamenkow leads off of first base. Not a big lead. 1-0 pitch. Skied into foul ground. A chance for Lewis at first base. But the ball proved to be a little bit faster than him. 1-1. He jogs back to his position. Always good to get a little bit of a workout in the middle of a baseball game. A lot of times you're just standing around waiting for the ball to come to you. 1-1 to right. Galadis checks over at first. Kamenkoff slides in safely. 1-1, 1 out. Inside fastball just misses the shirt of Tanner Wright. When you have a pitcher moving fast like Galadis, it's easy for the defense to stay on top of it and be ready for any ball that comes to them. 2-1 is a ground ball over to third base. Bobbled now fires over to first. Not in time. Wright beats it out. Trevor Matson bobbled the ball at third base. That should be ruled an error.
It is. E5 on the board.
The left fielder, number 4, Ramon.
And you know what? If you're the Oaks, you'll take that error. Why not? A tough play over at third. Sorry, Jordan, to cut you off, but Madison got that weird hop in the infield that happens here sometimes and mishandled it on the transfer and allowed the Oaks to get a couple runners on.
Tying run comes to the plate now, represented by Ramon Gomez. First pitch, a fastball upstairs, 1-0. And the big hitters coming up behind Gomez, Sam Shakin, Brandon Lewis. Shakin is not having his best day, 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts, but you know what that means. It means he's due. 1-0. Lifted to the first baseman, Lewis, in foul ground. Shifts his feet, makes the play for 2 outs in the inning. And Shakin comes to bat. Already a home run on the season.
The third baseman, number 25, Sam.
That was a pinch hit shot to right field in the first game of the season. Shakin still hitting .333. At least he went into the day hitting .333. Average dips a little bit lower after the 2 strikeouts in this one. Galadis checks the runner at second, kicks and fires. Fastball in the corner, 0-1. They've been doing that to Shakin all game long. Sometimes that's just how it goes.
You got to think if you're Shakin and they keep pitching away from you, take a couple steps forward. Don't overcrowd the plate, obviously, but choke up on that bat, and all you have to do is try to find a way to make contact.
0-1 off-speed line down the line in left field. Around third coming to score is Kamenkoff. To third base is Tanner Wright, and Shakin slides in safely at second for an RBI double. And after the first 2 at-bats where he struck out, he checks in with a ringing double down the left field line.
That is an important play here for the Oaks. Mind you, that run, is unearned because remember, that error came with 2 outs. That means this inning should have been over. Nonetheless, though, a great hit there for Shakin. Nothing taken away from him, of course. That gives the Oaks within striking distance here, down by 2 now.
Brandon Lewis could tie the game with a base hit here. Showing some patience on the off speed. Takes it for a strike. Last at-bat, Lewis flew out to first base. And he swung at the first pitch. This time, bigger situation, showing a little bit more patience. 0-1. Tapped on the ground. Left side. Out of play, 0-2. Lewis entered the day with an average at .400. On the corner, called strike 3 to Lewis. Galadis gets out of the inning, giving up only 1 run on 2 hits, an error, and 2 men left on base for the Oaks. We're through 5 full here at George Sparky Anderson Field. 4-2 Barons here on the Oaks Broadcasting Network. Back for the top of the 6th inning. 4-2 Barons over the Oaks. And for the remainder of the game, here's Jonathan Rifkin with play-by-play.
Thank you, birthday boy Jordan Brenner. You did a phenomenal job as always.
Thank you.
As you said, the Oaks down 4-2. The Barons will look to extend their lead here as we hit the latter half of this ball game. 5, 6, and 7 hitters due up. Andrew Wilson will be the first of the three. Matson and Lewis batting behind him on the day for Wilson. 0 for 2. The ground out and reach on a fielder's choice. Looping curveball from Jelinek is in there for strike number 1. 4 runs, 4 hits, 2 errors for the Barons. 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Oaks here in the 6th inning. The Barons coming off of a 13-3 loss 2 days ago against the Orange County Riptide, the 0-1. Runs low and away, 1-1 the count. The Riptide, of course, the defending CCL champions after downing the Healdsburg Prune Packers last year at MLB Urban Youth Academy, where we'll be tomorrow, home of the Academy Barons. This is the first of a 3-game series, the weekend series, if you will, but of course the series goes back to Compton tomorrow. The 1-1 taken on the outside corner for strike 2. The Barons had a rough season last year, but 2 years ago was actually their best season of all time. They went 26-11. More on that season here in a moment. The 1-2 is chopped foul down the third base line, out of play, and we'll do it again. Of course, the Barons have a wonderful coaching staff. Manager Kenny Landreau, now in his 8th season with the team. He led them to that 29-11 record back in 2016. Last year they went 16-20, but Coach Landreau has quite a history in baseball, and I'll give you his resounding pass here in a moment. The 1-2 pitch gets away from Jelinek. Good stop by Kamikaw. 2-2 the count. So, Coach Landreau is a Compton native. He went to Dominguez High School in 1979. He was drafted in the 8th round by the Houston Astros back in 78. But decided to go to ASU instead as the 2-2 is cracked foul into the parking lot. We'll do it again at 2 balls and 2 strikes. After 2 years at ASU, where he played in 2 College World Series, he was drafted in 1976 by the California Angels, 6th overall. He then went on to be the minor league player of the year in 1977, got called up by the Angels, played for 2 seasons with them before getting traded to the Twins. And guess what? Coach Landreau actually holds the longest consecutive hitting streak in Twins history with 31 games he hit safely. That is still the active streak for the Twins. The 2-2 comes in. Curveball, chopped to second. On the second hop, Velasquez fires it over to first for out number 1. So not only did he set the record for most consecutive games hit for the Twins, when he was traded to the Dodgers the next year in 1980, he made the All-Star team. In 1981, he won the World Series with the Dodgers and made the final out of the World Series in center field. He ended up batting .268 with 91 home runs and 479 RBIs in his career. So the first pitch comes into Matson for ball 1. So Coach Landreau, of course, at the helm with the Barons, and they are very lucky to have him. What a phenomenal past Kenny Landreau has had.
Sounds like a guy I want to have lunch with, pick his brain a little bit.
So the 1-0 pitch paints the outside corner, 1-1 the count. And he sports that 1981 World Series ring sometimes. And he is not shy about talking about how excited he is about the last out. He made the final out in a World Series game to clinch it. That is a memory that will stay with him forever. The 1-1 pitch, low and away, 2-1 the count. And how about this? Coach James Bishop, who's over at first base here for the Barons, played against Coach Landreau. He was drafted in 1981, the year that Landreau won the World Series with the Dodgers. Now they're working together here to staff the Barons. 2-1 pitch to Madsen, taken on the inside corner, 2-2 the count.
That's an unhittable pitch, Jonathan. Here are guys who've been hitting 80-plus mile-an-hour heaters all year long. They don't see a looping curveball like that. They haven't seen a curveball like that probably since, like, 9th grade.
The 2-2 pitch to Madsen is in the dirt, 3-2. The count, 65-mile-an-hour looping curveball. There's not much you can do about that one, but hope that it's a ball or ground it out. It's so hard to wait on that back heel for a pitch that slow if you're a batter, especially when you're anxious. The payoff pitch here. Bounces in the dirt for ball 4, and Madsen shows the patience. It pays off. The third walk of the day sufficed by the Oaks.
Runner on first now. One away here in the top of the 6th inning. Barons up 4-2 as Hunter Lewis digs in here now. Two RBI single, I should say, back in the 4th inning.
Lewis.
That allowed this game to kind of be cracked wide open. Struck out his first time back in the 2nd. The Indiana State Sycamore. Trying to follow in the footsteps of some of the greats from Indiana State.
What is a sycamore?
A tree. The 0-0. Right over the heart of plate for strike one. It's funny you ask that because the Conejo Oaks are trees.
Interesting.
And
Usually,
they're a sister tree of the oak.
really?
Oh, yeah.
Usually I don't like mascots that are trees. Obviously the Oaks are an exception, but growing up a Cal Golden Bear fan, I wasn't.
The 0-1 is popped up over the head of right into right center field. Rounding second and going to third is Matson, and he will be in there standing. A single here for Lewis, his second of the game, and there are runners at the corners with one away for the Barons. But as you were saying, Jordan,
I was just not. I'm not a fan of Stanford Cardinal. I think that's one of the most pathetic mascots in all of Division I
well,
sports.
hold on. I think that you may have a bias because of your Cal Bears alliance.
I'm a
allegiance, I
Duck
should say.
fan now.
Well, that's because you go to school at Oregon. I grew up
Right.
a Trojan fan, but I go to Oregon, and I'm a Duck. I'm a Duck, I guess you could say. Roosevelt Barnes digs in. He's from Morehouse College. Takes a looping curveball at 69 for strike one.
What's the mascot at Morehouse College,
I actually
Jonathan?
could not tell you.
We stumped him.
Do you know?
I have no idea.
Jelinek toes the rubber and deals the 0-1 pitch. Nope, time is called beforehand. And so that pitch will be taken back. Null and void, if you will.
And when an umpire does that, they call timeout so late that you can't even stop your motion.
know-
That'll drive a pitcher crazy.
Jordan, I just had an epiphany.
What's the mascot, Jonathan?
The Tigers, the Maroon
Tigers.
Tigers. Look it up if you don't believe me.
I can see it in your eyes.
The 0-1 is a one-hopper to short. Underhanded to second from Velasquez. No, the barehand was not contained by right, and that'll be an error, allowing the run to score. No double play turned. The Barons take a 5-2 lead.
That was a messy play from the start. Or, excuse me, Velasquez at short bobbled the grounder, and then Tanner Wright decided to maybe get a little bit cocky and barehand that ball at second base to relay over to first in time for the double play. Turns out no outs were recorded, and the Barons are rolling.
So an error there for the Oaks, their first of the game. Kyle Sally digs in and fouls off the first pitch for strike one. He's 1 for 2 on the day with an RBI single and a ground out. From Duke, I know they're the Blue Devils. There you go.
Impressive. It's not like we see constant coverage of them in March.
Sometimes even in April. Jelinek toes the rubber. Takes the sign, checks the run at second, and deals the 0-1 pitch. Outside, ball 1. One's across the board now. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 away, 2 on the base. So the Oaks have a fellow warming up on their bullpen. We'll give you who that is here in just a moment. The sun begins to move over into the valley. Shadows get longer. The 1-1 paints the outside corner at 64, 1-2 the count. The first of a 3-game series. The Oaks will head to Compton tomorrow. That game time is set for 1. We'll be live at 12:45 for that one. We'll wrap it up back in Compton on Sunday at 1 o'clock, 12:45 pregame for that one as well. Jelinek deals the 1-2. Sliced into foul territory down the right field line and foul out of play. 1-2 the count once again. The Barons are in their 11th season in the CCL. A fairly new organization, if you will. Of course, the newest organization up north, the Healdsburg Prune Packers, joined the league last season. Made quite a smash, losing in the finals, of course, downing the Oaks in the semifinals 9-8. John checks the runner and deals the 1-2. Swung and missed. Pitches in the dirt, but because runners are occupying first and second, no play can be made, and that's a strikeout. The first of the game for Jelinek and only the second of the game for the Oaks. Puts 2 outs up on the board. And Jordan, only 2 strikeouts in the game so far for the Oaks. Does that worry you at all?
Yeah, it actually does. Strikeouts are a very important thing in the game of baseball, even more important in the modern game. Strikeouts are the only constant where you know you can get, where you can strand people on base. I'm not sure if that makes sense.
First pitch into Trent Anderson, taken for strike one, and that made sense to me. That made perfect, flawless sense.
I appreciate that. I was just saying, when you have runners on, you can give up soft contact. You never know if your defense is going to make the play. Strikeouts, you know what's going to happen.
Big lead off of second for Lewis. The 0-1. And the dirt gets away from Kamikaw. He's going to corral it. Fire. Nope. He's going to hold back. And the runners will be safe at second and third on the wild pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 away. Runners in scoring position now here for the Barons. Anderson on the day out of Cal State University Bakersfield. 0 for 2 with a walk. A run scored back in the first. A ground out to second and a third, and a ground out back up to the pitcher in the fourth.
I feel for Zach Kamikaw behind the plate. It's kind of like catching a knuckleballer when you're catching for Jelinek. Ball's moving all over the place.
He deals the 1-1. Just misses the left shoulder of Anderson. 2-1 the count. The Oaks have Eddie Cutt warming up in their bullpen. Give him he has a 9 ERA, I should say. Give up a considerable amount of runs in the 1 inning he pitched a couple days ago. 2-1 pitch drops low, 3-1 the count. Five runs, 5 hits, 2 errors for the Barons. 2 runs, 5 hits, and an error for the Oaks. And the Barons, in the past, have always had the Oaks number, especially the first game these two teams play. The Oaks are now or not now, but as the 3-1 pitch is skied into left field. Coming in is Gomez for out number 3. But to finish that, in the last 3 years, the Barons have won the first game these two teams have played every single year. So they're 3-0 in the last 3 years. They're trying to make it 4-0 here as they're up 5-2. No runs, a hit, no errors. 2 left on base. We're through 5.5 here from Sparky Anderson Field. The Oaks down by 3. Back here at Sparky Anderson Field. Hope everybody's enjoying their Friday afternoon. He's Jordan Brenner. My name is Jonathan Rifkin. Big thank you to our wonderful producer, Sean McKinnon. As Bart West digs in here. The new pitcher on the mound, by the way, as the first pitch comes in and sliced foul for strike number 1 is Gutierrez, sporting the number 34 on his back.
I love watching Bart West hit. It's a treat.
So the 0-1 pitch is taken for strike 2. Eric Gutierrez out of Lipscomb College in Kansas. Check that, in Pennsylvania, my mistake. From Palos Verdes, California. We headed there for his senior year. He toes the rubber and fires low, too. Upstairs, 1-2 the count. On the day for West, 1 for 2 with a double, a run scored, and a strikeout. Look to capitalize. And the Oaks down by 3 runs. A few opportunities left. They have to start bringing together some hits and putting some runs across the plate. The 1-2 from Gutierrez. Misses away, 2-2 the count. Of course, the Oaks headed by head coach David Solis. He's been a phenomenal head coach for this team. We'll get into his history here in a moment. Gutierrez steps off. In 2015, the Oaks posted a 28-18 record. They went 14-23. Or excuse me, 20-27 in 2014, which is the worst season the Oaks ever had. And then 2015 followed up with their best season as the 2-2 pitch is swung on and missed for strike 3. Down goes West, his second strikeout of the game, and Gutierrez strikes out the first batter that he sees for out number 1. Going back to what I was saying, the Oaks followed up their 20-27 season back in 2014 with a 30-16 season, their best of all time. That was my first season here with the Conejo Oaks, and that was a fun team to watch. Chad Spanberger and Chad Bible, respectively, of course. Jake Sylvester, a bunch of guys out in the minors, likely to make the majors, led that team as Holbrook checks in and takes a first pitch ball. He's 0 for 2 on the day, reached on an error and popped out in foul territory. Then the Oaks last year went 26-16, lost in the semifinal. The 0-1 is taken at the knees, 0-2 the count. And this season, I think the Oaks are the most well-rounded team that they have been overall. Pitching is kind of a question, as we've seen. But the Oaks are not a team new to slow starts. They are 2-1. They're down 5-2 here, but they normally heat up come end of June, early July, get on a winning streak, and that's how they force their way into the playoffs. Curveball from Gutierrez paints the outside corner for strike 2. Beautiful pitch right there. Barons 0-1 on the season. Lost 13-3 to the CCL defending champs a couple of days ago. 1-2 pitches, another curveball. Slice foul out of play, and we'll do it again. Michael Tillman batting behind Holbrook, waiting on deck in the hole. Should we get that far as that can caw? Both of those guys are 1 for 2 on the day. So the wind has died down a little bit. It was really picking up towards the beginning of the game. Now a steady 8 miles an hour out to right field. The righty toes the rubber. Pearson fires. The 1-2 sliced off the leg of Holbrook, and we'll do it again. Holbrook has done a little bit of everything. He's had 2 successful innings as a pitcher, where he didn't give up any runs, and as a batter, struggled a little bit to start off the season. Coming into today's game, 0 for 6 in plate appearances, looking to change his fortunes here. Of course, reached on an error back in the second inning. The 1-2. Turns away from it, 2-2 the count.
You could just tell with Holbrook, once he finds his bearings at the plate, we're going to see some long fly balls.
Gutierrez deals the 2-2, swung on and missed. Strike 3. On a 76-mile-an-hour off-speeder, Holbrook is down on strikes. The second strikeout of the inning, round number 2. Michael Tillman will try to keep this inning alive here for the Oaks, down 5-2 in the bottom of the 6th. He is 1 for 2 as an RBI single and a ground out in 2 trips so far today. The righty, who led Pearson batting average this past season, digging in, leaving that bat high above his right shoulders. The first pitch is a big rip and a miss for strike 1.
Trying to hit it over to the Rams facilities out in left field.
Or even up to the Cal Lutheran sign up on that mountain. He has the power. He just has to find one to hit. Gutierrez deals, though, 1. Painting the outside corner. I'm not sure if you could do it any better than that. 0-2 the count. That has been a consistent call all day. We have not seen many Oaks batters at least swing at that pitch. That outside corner has been prevalent. Gutierrez takes a breath, twirls that ball in his glove, And now time is called.
3 straight strikeouts for the Oaks so far. Brandon Lewis struck out to end the 5th, and 2 consecutive strikeouts to begin the 6th.
0-2. Swung on hand, missed. Nope, foul tipped. Off the end of the bat. It looked like he missed, but nonetheless, he lives to swing another pitch, if you will. Add another pitch, I guess. And how about this for the Barons? In the first 7 games they play, all come by way of either the Conejo Oaks or the Orange County Riptide. Not a lot of variety to begin the season for this team as the 0-2 pitch is skied into the parking lot down the right field line. Foul and out of play. 0-2 the count once again. They opened up against the against the Riptide on Wednesday. They play the Oaks obviously today, tomorrow, and Sunday. After a day off on Monday, they play the Riptide again in a 2-game series on Tuesday and Wednesday before coming back here to Cal Lutheran on Thursday to play the Oaks. The 0-2 pitch, called strike 3 at the knees. A beautiful 1-2-3 inning for Gutierrez. He sends all 3 Oaks batters down on strikes, and we are done with this inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on base. We're through 6 full here from Sparky Anderson Field. Oak Trail 5-2.
Shortstop number 3.
Welcome back, top of the 7th. My name is Jonathan Rifkin. My broadcasting partner, Jordan Brenner, to my right. To my left, our producer, Sean McKinnon. Hope everybody's enjoying a Friday afternoon or Saturday, depending on where you're watching from. I know my brother was watching a little bit out in Tokyo, or actually Kyoto now in Japan. They're 16 hours ahead out there. So if you're watching from abroad, I know Vern Merrill, our former Oaks GM, watches from Hawaii sometimes, and he's 2 hours behind. No matter where you are, no matter how you're watching, we appreciate you making us a part of your day. First pitch in to Josh Banuelos is taken for strike 1. The new pitcher on the mound for the Oaks is Eddie Cutt from Ohio University of the Bobcats. Taking the place of Bo Jelenik. Give you his stats here in a moment. The 0-1 pitch. Skied over the glove of West into right field. That'll be good for extra bases. Rounding first and going to second as Banuelos. The throw comes in, but well late. A leadoff double here in the 7th for Banuelos gives the Barons a runner in scoring position early. By the way, Bo Jelenik, 2 innings pitched, 1 hit. No runs, 1 walk, 1 strikeout.
Eddie Cutt. Well, let me put it this way. Banuelos saw the cut fastball from Eddie Cutt, took a cut, and he cut it into right center field for a beautiful hit.
And even though he gave up a hit, what etiquette by Eddie Cutt displayed on the mound. This is going to be a long season. Logan Pollock digs in now. He's had a pretty good day. 1 for 2 with a walk, a single, a run scored, and a line out. Cutt checks that runner at second and deals the first pitch. Whipped in there, but fouled back. Strike 1.
And that hit's just not going to cut it.
Eddie Cutt in his only pitching appearance on Wednesday in the 5-4 loss against the Barons. Gave up 4 hits, 3 runs. All 3 were earned, walked 3, and struck out 1 in 2 innings pitched. Good for a 13.5 ERA so far. Takes a breath and toes the rubber. Deals the 0-1. Off speeder, cut on and missed. 0-2 the count.
Eddie Cutt, fastball, curveball, changeup, cutter combination.
It's only fitting that he is a cutter, of course.
You just know that was the first pitch he learned how to throw when he was a kid.
Pollock digs back in from Michigan, sporting a red helmet as the 0-2 pitch. Swung and missed. Strike 3 on a 75-mile-an-hour breaking pitch. Pollock is down on strikes, and Cutt has his first strikeout of the ball game. He follows now in the footsteps of Jelenik and Appleby, who started the game for the Oaks. Both had one strikeout to their name today as well.
Number 15, Joseph Argumedo.
And that'll bring up Joseph Argumedo. He's 1 for 3 with an RBI ground out into a double play in the first. Reached on a single in the fourth, and then grounded out to third in the fifth. One away, runner on second, the first pitch in. Skied into shallow right field. Wright and Lewis both converging on it, but right out of second base will make the catch for out number 2. Quick out number 2 here. 5 runs, 6 hits, 2 errors for the Barons. 2 runs, 5 hits, 1 error for the Oaks. And Andrew Wilson will begin. Wilson plays at Marymount California University in the NAIA. Taking his time, waiting into the batter's box. Temperature has dropped now into the mid-70s. Very comfortable temperature here for some late afternoon baseball. Cutt toes the rubber and deals the first pitch. Taken in on the hands, but called strike 1. Nick Ring cover for the Oaks. The left-handed pitcher begins stretching out in the Oaks bullpen. See how long Cutt will be given the reins here for the Oaks as he deals the 0-1. On the inside corner, a nice breaking pitch. 0-2 the count to Wilson.
That looked like a cutter. Had a lot of velocity to it, even though the scoreboard says 46 miles an hour.
Well, that was the
That's
throw back. That was the throw from the catcher back to the pitcher.
I see.
Still not very impressive. I'm sure Cam McCall can throw faster than that. 0-2. Swung and missed. Strike 3, and that'll do it here in the top of the 7th inning. No runs hit, no errors, 1 left on base. To the bottom of the 7th, we go 8-9, and 1 is due up here for the Oaks as they trail 5-2. We'll be right back on the Oaks Broadcasting Network. Zach Kamenkaw, Kyle Velasquez, and Tanner Wright due up here in the inning for the Oaks as they trail 5-2. Welcome back, everybody. He's Jordan Brenner. I'm Jonathan Rifkin. Sean McKinnon, our producer for today's game. Doing a wonderful job, as always, behind the scenes. Feel free to follow us on Twitter, at Caneo_Oaks. Questions, comments, concerns. Just want to interact with us. Always happy to. First pitch to Kamenkaw is taken upstairs for ball 1. The check swing appeal to first. They say he did not go. On the day for Kamenkaw, 1 for 2 with a strikeout and a single that led to a score back in the 4th inning. The last run the Oaks were able to muster since the second. The 1-0. Called a strike at the letters. 1-1 the count. Gutierrez back on the mound after striking out all 3 Oaks batters he faced in the 6th inning. Toes the rubber and deals the 1-1. Painting the outside corner, 1-2 the count. Waiting on deck for the Oaks is Kyle Velasquez. He's 0 for 2 as well. With that being said, almost every Oaks batter, with the exception of Brandon Lewis, as the 1-2 pitch misses, 2-2 the count. Every Oaks batter so far, except for Brandon Lewis, has reached base, with the exception of Kyle Velasquez, so far today. So 7 of the 9 guys, the 2-2. A curveball, missing inside, 3-2 the count. What a nasty break on that one, though. The Barons dugout wanted that call to strike. 3-2 the count. Nobody away here. Bottom of the 7th inning, the Oaks trying to muster some runs to get back into this one. The UNLV product digs back in as the payoff pitch comes in. Cracked over to third into the glove of Madsen. He fires it over to first for out number 1. 5-3 put up for those keeping score at home. And we have one out up on the board as Kyle Velasquez digs in.
Stop number 10, Kyle Velasquez.
Overall, a relatively quiet game. Only 11 combined so far. 3 errors and 7 runs. 5 runs, 6 hits, and 2 errors for the Barons. 2 runs, 5 hits, and an error for the Oaks. The first pitch to the St. Mary's product is low and away for ball 1. The St. Mary's Gales.
What are Gales?
I'm not
Jonathan?
exactly sure.
I'll look it up.
The 1-0. Speared down the right field line, but out of play, 1-1 the count.
Interesting. A very strong wind is a gale.
I think that's pretty
I
intimidating.
think that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Well, I know gales are used in aeronautical terms to describe a headwind and a tailwind, so I guess that makes sense. The 1-1. Tipped off the end of the bat, 1-2 the count.
What's the most intimidating mascot out there, Jonathan?
The Eastern Carolina Purple Pirate. Nothing gets better than that Purple Pirate.
What about the banana slugs of Santa Cruz?
There is nothing intimidating about the banana slugs. The University of Richmond Spiders. I like that one. That was by way of our producer, Sean. The 1-2 in. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. The strikeout on the day for Gutierrez. The 9th overall for the Barons. And that's out number 2 of the inning.
Second baseman, number 1, Tanner.
You know who's pretty scary? I can't pin the mascot, but the Appalachian mascot, I have the picture of him in my head. The Appalachian State mascot is pretty intimidating. The Mountaineers, that's who they are. Is the 0-0 pitch to right is popped up. In on the infield, caught by Pollock for out number 3. The Oaks go down for the second consecutive time in short order. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. They trail 5-2, top of the 8th after this on the Oaks Broadcasting Network. Welcome back here, top of the 8.
Top of the 8 for the Barons.
Oaks down 5-2 as Trevor Madsen will dig here, followed by Hunter Lewis and Roosevelt Barnes. Looking to capitalize on what's been a pretty good game here for the Barons. First pitch in from Cut. Slice back into his glove, and he'll field it over to first for out number 1. One pitch, one away here to start the 8th inning. And during the break, we were talking about it. What were some of the most intimidating mascots? I obviously said the Purple Pirate. We had the Spider. I don't know why Jordan said, but he said the Banana Slug. Then we kind of turned it and said, you know what, who's the most intimidating mascot in the Pac-12? And I think we all could agree that the ASU Sun Devils are indeed the most intimidating mascot. Now, if you want to give us your take on the conversation, feel free to tweet at us at Canelo_Oaks. Hunter Lewis digs in and takes a first pitch strike on the inside corner, 0-1 the count. Or comment it in the chat box on YouTube. Feel free to get in on the conversation. Who is the most intimidating college mascot? The 0-1 pitch drops low, 1-1 the count. Lewis on the day. 2 for 3, a couple singles, a pair of RBIs, and a strikeout looking.
How about in the professional realms, Jonathan?
The 1-1. And on the hands at 89, but called a strike, 1-2 the count. The most intimidating
The
professional
Avalanche is pretty good.
for hockey.
Yeah. Especially
That makes me
within hockey.
fearful. The 1-2 drops and they're 2-2 the count. That's fair. I think the Avalanche is a pretty intimidating mascot.
How about the Lakers?
Well, considering they were from Minneapolis and named after the Great Lakes, unless you have a fear of water, I don't think they're very intimidating. The 2-2. Big swing and a miss for strike 3. Down goes Lewis. The third strikeout on the day for Cut, and he's looking much better than he did a couple of games ago against the Blues. Roosevelt Barnes now digging in. He's 0 for 3, reached on an error.
Right field.
Grounded out and flown out in his 3 trips.
If I ever start a university and we compete in D1 sports, I'll let you make the call.
The first pitch drops low to Barnes for ball 1.
I would start a university in Florida,
Okay.
the Florida Floaties, for those who can't swim.
That's cute. 1-0. Cut out. 1-1 the count. That sounds like a university for those kids who are really smart but not old enough to go to school yet. It's a university yet. Does that make sense?
So a high school or
Yeah,
a
but there are
middle
those.
school?
But there are those kids who are intellect is so high that they think on a university level, but because of their age, they can't actually go to university yet. The 1-1 is a slow 75-mile-an-hour breaking pitch, cut on and missed.
Back to the game real quick. Eddie Cut's changeup. It's otherworldly.
It really is. It starts up at the shoulders, drops down, and has some nice topspin. The 1-2, just missing low, 2-2 the count. If I were to start a university, and I've thought about this when I was little, it would be in Connecticut, because I feel like Connecticut doesn't get enough recognition. The 2-2 pitch comes in, fouled off against the screen, 2-2 once again. We would be the Connecticut Vipers.
That's cool. Are there vipers up in Connecticut?
I don't think so, but it's a cool mascot.
Rattlesnakes are vipers. Fun fact.
Every rattlesnake?
Every rattlesnake.
Wow, you learn something new every day. The 2-2 pitches in on the hands, 3-2 the count.
I've thought about getting into herpetology before, which is the study of reptiles.
Chose broadcasting instead, huh? Payoff pitch. Misses low, ball 4, and Barnes is on with a 2-out walk.
I'll tell you what, drop some snake knowledge
Throughout the season. How
throughout
about
the
that?
season.
I think I'm all snake knowledged out for tonight.
Sounds good.
Did you know that the 2 most venomous snakes in the United States are found in Connecticut?
Really?
Thank you to our statistician and producer, Sean McKinnon, for
Eastern diamondback rattlesnake, maybe?
getting me with that one. No, the timber snake. That was a really good stat, Sean. I am impressed. Kyle Sally digs in. The first pitch is low for ball 1. He's 1 for 3 on the day with a ground out, a strikeout, and an RBI single. So I guess there are rattlesnakes in Connecticut, and therefore my university can actually have that mascot. Pretty proud of that one.
Yeah, but I think there has to be alliteration when you're thinking of a mascot. The Connecticut Vipers? Why not the Virginia Vipers?
We go to the school where it's the Oregon Ducks. You want to tell me about alliteration.
The Oregon Owls would be better.
Thank God they didn't choose that as their mascot. 1-0 pitch drops low, 2-0 the count.
I guess there doesn't have to be alliteration. I surrender.
Waving the white flag. The 2-0 runner goes, sliced into center field. Running to his right is Tillman. And he'll make the catch for out number 3. No runs, no hits, no errors. Well, left on base. We're through 7.5 here at Spark Henderson Field. The Oaks' chances are dwindling, but they'll look to try and make a comeback in the bottom of the 8th right here on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. Bottom of the 8th, Raymond Gomez leads things off here for the Oaks as Gutierrez's first pitch is swung on and missed for strike 1. Gomez on the day, 1 for 3. A single back in the first. Ground out in the 3rd and a pop out in the 5th. Trying to jumpstart the Oaks offense here. Foul tips a pitch back into the glove of Argumedo for strike number 2. The Oaks are in desperate need of some sort of offensive flow, if you will. 1 run in the 2nd and 1 run in the 5th. And that's it. The 0-2 pitch. Called strike 3 on the outside corner. The 5th strikeout on the game for Gutierrez. And that outside corner has been the Achilles heel for the Oaks all game long.
Nasty, 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 nasty slider on the edge. Gutierrez has been very impressive so far.
Sam Shaken now in. 1 for 3 on the day. 2 strikeouts and an RBI single back in the 5th. Last big out the Oaks had. Big swing and a miss for strike 1. He was the last base runner for the Oaks. Since then, the Oaks have been retired 7 straight.
With 6 strikeouts in that span.
Check that, 8 straight, and yes, 6 strikeouts in that span. Gutierrez toes the rubber. Looking to capitalize on his phenomenal day as he steps off. 5 strikeouts, no hits, no walks, no runs. So far now in his 3rd inning of work. He has had the Oaks number. Shakes off the first pitch and now steps off once again. And he calls for his catcher, Argumedo, to have a conversation.
Maybe to have an argument.
The Barons field for you here. Roosevelt Barnes in right. Trent Anderson center and Wilson at left. Hunter Lewis at first. Logan Pollock over at second. Joshua Vanuelos occupies short over at third is Trevor Madsen behind the dish. Joseph Argumedo as he takes his position after the meeting on the mound. The second pitcher of the day, Gutierrez for the Barons. Nick Galatas started the first 5 innings of the game for the Barons. The 0-1 pitch is at the knees for strike 2. The Oaks have Nick Ringcover still warming up. And I'd assume that he will take the helm in the top of the 9th, though Eddie Cutt has had a phenomenal day here for the Oaks. Gutierrez deals, though, too. Just missing outside, and I think everybody held their breath expecting that to be called strike 3.
Yeah, the way Sam Shaken's been pitched to today, you feel bad for him. 2 strikeouts, but he's been down consistently in the count, 0-2. A lot of pain on the corners to him.
The 1-2 is a swing and a miss, but that ball gets behind Argumedo, and Shaken is going to make his way to first base. Argumedo actually lost the ball. Shaken could have made it to second if he knew that, but nonetheless, a drop third strike, and the Oaks have a base runner on with one away.
Finally, something going right for Sam Shaken and the Oaks. A bounce in the right direction. Can always get a rally going.
Number 23, Brandon Lewis.
Now the big bat of Brandon Lewis, which has been very quiet tonight. 0 for 3 with a strikeout, a pop-out, and a flyout under his belt. And he is the Oaks' best chance in this lineup to generate some big offense. Much-needed offense here in the 8th inning. Runner on first, one away, down by 3, the first pitch. Half-hearted swing, caught by Argumedo for strike 1. After an 11-hit performance a couple of days ago, only 5 hits here tonight for the Oaks. 8 hits a couple of days ago against the Blues, and 9 the first game of the season. The 0-1 pitch, a swung on miss, strike 2. Lewis ended up going 1 for 2. Check that, 1 for 3 2 days ago against the Blues in the 7-4 win. Batting average has now dropped to .250. Towing the rubber, Gutierrez checks the runner at first. And fires the 0-2 pitch. Taken for strike 3 at the knees. Lewis is not happy with that one, but nonetheless, 3 strikeouts now in the inning here for Gutierrez, but that drop third strike has shaken over at first. 7 strikeouts in the game for Gutierrez. What a performance by the relief pitcher.
Yeah, Bart West steps in, striking out in his last 2 at-bats. This could be 4 in the inning and 5 in a row.
Of the 9 batters, Gutierrez has faced, he struck out 7 of them. As the first pitch to Bart West paints the outside corner for strike 1. This guy can throw. On the day for West, had a double and a run scored in the second and a pair of strikeouts in the third and the sixth. The 0-1 speared back out of play and off the recreational facility behind us. Strike number 2. We'll hit the road tomorrow morning out to Compton. Play at the MLB Urban Youth Academy. Join us at 12:45 for the pregame show, 1 o'clock game time. And then on Sunday, we'll wrap up the series back at the MLB Urban Youth Academy. Same time, 12:45 pregame, 1 o'clock game time. Gutierrez deals, though, 2. Taken on the outside corner, strike 3 called. 4 strikeouts in the inning for Gutierrez to get all 3 outs. And the Oaks have been retired 9 straight now since the 6th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on base. The Oaks trail 5-2 here. We'll be right back for the top of the 9th after this on the Oaks Broadcasting Network. Top of the ninth here at George Sparky Anderson Field. The Oaks and the Barons duking it out on the baseball diamond. So far, the Barons with the edge 5-2, looking to capitalize here in what could be their final ups of the day. New pitcher on the mound for the Oaks from Pierce College's Nick Ringcover takes the place of Eddie Cutt, who went 2 innings, struck out 3, walked 1, no hits or walks as the first pitch into Anderson showed bunt pulled back, called ball. On the day for Trent Anderson, 0 for 3. He walked back in the first and scored the first run of the game, then grounded out and flew out in the next 3 at-bats. The 1-0 pitch is taken over the heart of the plate for strike 1, 1-1 the count. On the mound, Nick Ringcover for the Oaks, the only lefty, now getting his first appearance of the season in the Oaks uniform. Toes the rubber, takes the sign, Pearson fires the 1-1. Upstairs, ball 2. So, today's broadcast, we've been talking a lot about college mascots, mascot mania, if you will, and one of the mascots that came to mind as the 2-1 pitch misses up and away, 3-1 the count, was the greatest mascot of any university in the known universe. The University of Louisiana Lafayette Ragin' Cajuns take the cake for me as the greatest mascot in the country. Ragin' Cajun. 3-1 misses away, and that's a 5-pitch walk to begin the ninth here for Anderson.
Yeah, that's a great mascot. You can have my cake to take that cake.
Of course, Wofford University college is the Terriers. I knew that they were a dog, but I forgot which one it was. And Boston University is also the Terriers. Can't go wrong with the dog mascot.
Did they choose that because Wofford sounds like Wooford?
No, but that's hilarious. Joshua Banuelos is in here now. He's 1 for 3, hit by pitch, a double, a couple of pop-outs. Takes the first pitch for ball 1. A lot of good content on today's game. Most of it on mascots. Lefty toes the rubber, checks that runner at first. Some speed over by Anderson and deals the 1-0 upstairs, 2-0 the count. The Oaks are short-handed pitching-wise today. No Simons guard out there as Solis wants to have a conversation with his pitcher. The Barons look like they have their closer coming up. We'll get you who that is here in just a moment. 5 runs, 6 hits, 2 errors for the Oaks. 2 runs, 5 hits, and an error for the visiting Barons. Head coach Solis having a conversation now on the mound with his catcher and his pitcher. 2 runs, 5 hits, and an error for the Oaks, to reiterate. 5 runs, 6 hits, 2 errors for the Barons, once again, to reiterate. Oaks down 5-2 here as the meeting breaks. Back to baseball. Ringcover deals the 2-0. Missing upstairs for ball 3. Logan Pollock on deck. Joseph Argumedo in the hole. Should we get that far, though a double play situation here for the Oaks. That may not be so likely as Ringcover is down in the count. 3-0 pitch over the heart of the plate at 81 for strike 1, 3-1 the count. Today begins a stretch of 10 games in 11 days for the Oaks. The only day off will be Monday. After a long week of baseball next week, the 3-1 skied foul out of play. That'll bring the full now, 3 balls and 2 strikes. After the weekend series, we'll have a day off on Monday before hosting a 4-game homestand here at Cal Lutheran. The Orange County Surf, the Ventura County Pirates, 2 interleague teams. For the Barons come back in the SoCal Catch. Next Saturday, the Oaks will head over to La Mirada at Biola University on the 16th to play the Catch before coming back home on the 17th to host the Barons. 3-2. Double play ball over to second, over to short for 1. The relay is in time. No, it pops out of the glove of West. He thought he had it. And that was a mishandle over at first. That should be an error by the first baseman. The relay was in plenty of time, and that'll go down as a 4-6 putout, and then an error by the first baseman, an E3, that allowed Banuelos to get over first. For the Oaks, not a good move there. Logan Pollock now digging in.
Number 18, Logan Pollock.
1 for 3 on the day, a walk, a single, a lineout, and a strikeout. Look to change his fortunes here. First pitch. In on the hands for ball 1. 2 hours and 14 minutes into the game. So far, the quickest game that we have played all year long. Game number 4 of the young season. The 1-0. Skied in the shallow right field. A couple of Oaks running up to it, but no one will get to it. It looked like Wright had the angle out of second, but missed it by a step. 1-1 the count.
Not worth the dive over there for Wright in foul ground. You don't want to risk injury in a 5-2 game.
Of course, a 3-run deficit, very doable for the Oaks. But with the way they've been swinging the bat, which has been very lackluster so far today, they may need to muster up a little more oomph than we've seen so far. The 1-1 runner goes, called strike. The throw is not in time. Looked like a good throw from Kamikow, but sliding under the tag was Banuelos for a stolen base.
Not enough velocity from the catcher, Kamikow. It was a good location of the throw, for the throw. Put in the perfect place.
1 ball, 2 strikes, run on second, 1 away, the 1-2. A beautiful breaking pitch, painting the outside corner at the knee for strike 3. First strikeout of the game for Ringcover. That puts out number 2 up on the board. That was a lot of movement. Started on the outside part of the zone, then veered inside and had Pollock dead in his footsteps.
One of the hardest pitches to hit as a hitter. You see the pitch start so far off the plate, you give up on it, and then all of a sudden it's right down the middle and you've been rung up, and you're on your way back to the dugout.
Joseph Argumedo digs in as the first pitch to him is taken at the knees for strike 1 at 74. He's 1 for 4 on the day. Grounded a 4-6-3 double play back in the first, but got a run in the process for an RBI. Singled in the 4th and grounded out in the 5th. Popped out in the 7th. Big righty from Lynn University in Florida. Digging back in. Wide stance. The 0-1. Runner goes. Called strike. The throw is in plenty of time for out number 3. Caught stealing after a stolen base by Banuelos. We'll leave it there. No runs, no hits. 1 error. Nobody left on base. We're through 8.5. The Oaks will have 1 more opportunity in the bottom half of the inning to make up the 3-run deficit. The drama pending here on the other side of the break.
One more opportunity for the Conejo Oaks to make up the 3-run deficit down 5-2. Welcome back, everybody. Jonathan Rifkin, Jordan Brenner, Sean McKinnon are here. Happy to be with you on a Friday evening here in Thousand Oaks, California. Bailey Holbrook will look to lead things off here for the Oaks in the bottom of the 9th. The first pitch from Gutierrez is fouled back for strike one on the day for Holbrook. 0 for 3, reached on air back in the 2nd, popped out in the 4th, and struck out in the 6th. He was the 2nd strikeout victim of the 8 that Gutierrez has had today. The 0-1, routine ground ball missed by Pollock. The relay over to first is not in time, and that'll be an E4 to allow Holbrook to get on here for the Oaks. And if you're the Oaks, you will take that. No reason to be upset by reaching with an error because that is a much-needed base runner here with Michael Tillman digging in.
Don't blink yet, but the Oaks have 13 strikeouts on the day. That's a pretty ugly number.
An 8 by Gutierrez. That was the first hit he's given up, and not even a hit. That was the first base run he's given up since he's been on the mound. Tired 10 straight. The reason they tired 10 straight is because they were dropped their strike back in the 8th. The 0-0. Popped foul back out of play, and we'll do it again. Michael Tillman has one of the 2 RBIs on the day for the Oaks. Singled back in the 2nd to allow a run, or to drive in a run. Grounded out to short and struck out looking in the 5th. Led Pierce Junior College in batting average this season. High stance. 0-1 pitch. Foul tipped into the glove of Argumedo for strike 2. Waiting on deck, Zach Kamikow. No, it actually looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter in his place. It'll be Drew Sims waiting on deck. In the hole, if we get that far, is Kyle Velasquez. Again, some pinch hitters being thrown, so we'll see here if they decide to keep him in the game as well. Runner on first, nobody away. On row the 9th. Gutierrez toes the rubber, takes a breath. Peers and fires. The 0-1 pitch. Swung and missed. Actually, that was the 0-2 pitch. Strike 3, down goes Tillman on strikes. The 9th of the game for Gutierrez. And that's out number 1.
Coming in to pitch into the Oaks from Utah Valley, number 6, Drew Sims.
Here, Ramsey, our PA guy, announcing Drew Sims over the loudspeaker from Utah Valley University. He had a pretty good day a couple days ago. He's batting .400 on the season with an extra base hit under his belt and a run scored in the early wisps of the summer. The first pitch, taken at the knees for strike 1. A double play ball would end the game. Oaks will do everything in their power to not allow that to happen as Will Picketts is waiting on deck. He would take the place of Kyle Velasquez, the returner for the Oaks, hoping to get some ups here. The 0-1. Same pitch, same result, strike 2. 5 runs, 6 hits, 3 errors for the visiting Barons. 2 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors for the Oaks. Gutierrez checks that runner over at first in the form of Bailey Holbrook and deals the 0-2. Caught on and missed. Strike 3. Sims is down on strikes. Strikeout number 10 now in the game for Gutierrez. The Oaks are 1 out away from dropping this game. And the Barons are 1 out away from winning this game. And both teams would be at 500 should that happen. Now Will Picketts will get his first ups of the young season here. The Oaks returner played 35 games last year. His father, Bill Picketts, is the head coach at Pierce Junior College. And he will be attending Cal State Bakersfield in the fall. Batted .264 with the Oaks last season. Was 3rd on Pierce College in batting average this past season. First pitch to him. Taken for strike 1. Of course, Bill Picketts, one of the most iconic junior college coaches in the greater Los Angeles area. He actually played at Cal State LA with head coach Solis of the Oaks back in the 80s. Both were drafted into Major League Baseball thereafter. The 0-1. Called strike 2 at the knees, and now 1 strikeout away from this game being over. Runner on first. Oaks down by 3 here in the bottom of the 9th with 2 outs. And Will Picketts will look to fight off a couple and keep this game alive for Conejo. Gutierrez whirls that ball behind his back, checks the runner at first, takes a breath, toes the rubber. Fires in the 0-2. Big swing and a miss, and this game is over. No runs, no hits, 1 error, and 1 left on base. The Conejo Oaks drop today's game 5-2. They now go to 2-2 on the season, 2-1 in the CCL. Check that, 1-2 in the CCL. The Academy Barons are 1-1 on the season, 1-1 in the CCL. The winning pitcher of today's game, Nikhil Gladys, his first win of the season. Losing pitcher, David Appleby. And how about the pitching performance by Gutierrez? 10 strikeouts, no hits, no runs, no walks, and 4 flawless innings of pitching.
15 strikeouts for the Oaks, simply not going to cut it for this team going forward. Hyped up as a really good offensive team. Clearly, they're feeling the dog days of the summer a little bit early this season. Was not pretty to watch them today. Their record's going to go back to 2-2, but if trends continue, they've gone win-loss, win-loss. That means they're due for a win in Compton tomorrow. Just got to keep your heads up and keep grinding for the game tomorrow.
The final line, 5 runs, 6 hits, and 3 errors for the Barons. 2 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors for the Oaks. The Barons left 7 on base. The Oaks leave 5 on base in the game. 2 hours and 24 minutes was total game time. Offensive performers for you for the Conejo Oaks. Raymond Gomez went 1 for 4. Bart West went 1 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, but a double back in the second inning. Michael Tillman went 1 for 4 with a pair of strikeouts and an RBI single. And Zach Kamikal went 1 for 3 with a single and a run scored. On the Barons side, a phenomenal day for Hunter Lewis. He went 2 for 4 with 2 strikeouts, 2 RBIs, and 2 singles. The other big performer on the day was Logan Pollock. He went 1 for 4 with a big RBI single, a run scored, a walk, and a pair of strikeouts. Of course, at the top of the order, Trent Anderson, 2 walks, and a big run as well. Well, that's going to do it for us here at Sparky Anderson Field. No post-game interview on Twitter today, but join us tomorrow at 12:45 when the Oaks play the Barons back in Compton, California. Game number 2 of this 3-game series. Once again, the final, Oaks lose 5-2. For everybody who made this broadcast possible, from our coaching staff here at the Conejo Oaks, a big thank you to head coach Solis, Becca, our team head operator down in the press box, my broadcasting partner and birthday boy, Jordan Brenner, our wonderful producer, Sean McKinnon. My name is Jonathan Rifkin, signing off. We will see you tomorrow at 12:45. Once again, the Oaks lose 5-2. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, everybody.